Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Johanna. I'm the German booktuber in Sweden, talking about books in English. It's Monday, it's the 5th of July. It's time for another wrap-up, another week that has gone by, that went into the archives of the planet, into the archives of God. I'm going to talk about the books that I read, the books that I read, the books that I'm planning to read. I want to inform you about it and some other things that have happened in my world and in our world. So without further ado, let's get this video started. I have finished 2 books last week. The first book I have to talk about is this one, PersonSingular by Haruki Murakami, who is one of the most prominent and well-known authors in the whole wide world. He has been translated into 50 languages. He has won numerous awards, and rumor has it almost every year that he is one of the favorites to win the Nobel Prize for literature. He hasn't won it yet. First person singular is a very well established way of telling stories in Japan. There is something called the I novel, and it has always been a special interest for Murakami since he has become a writer. Generations of Japanese authors have used events that have happened in their lives to create something out of it, and this tradition of narrating a story, of narrating a novel, has been established in the so-called Meiji period between 1868 and 1912. And yes, all of the 8 stories of first-person singular have an first-person narrator, and they have events in the narrator's life that as their focus point, and let Murakami, the author, or the narrator, reflect on it, reflect about music, about youth, about loss, about love, about beauty, and about happiness. This is not a masterpiece like his great novels that he has written, but it's an extremely pleasant read, and I highly recommend this book, First Person Singular by Haruki Murakami. The second book that I finished last week was a non-fiction book, and it's called Familjen by Johanna Bäckström, Lerneby. I read this in Swedish. It was published by Mondial in Sweden in 2020. This is a true crime book about a family of a few hundred people of Lebanese origin living in the city of Gothenburg, and most of them almost in one particular part of town. It's called Engel. It's about a clan who rules in a part of town, and its patriarch who is meddling in conflicts, while some of his sons and nephews have been accused and sentenced due to several capital crimes. The Swedish suburbs have gotten into focus recently again, a lot in recent years, with more and more shootings that happen almost every day here. And a steep rise of gang criminality, of gang activities in Sweden. Last summer, for example, a 12-year-old girl was killed, accidentally shot dead in Botkyrka, and in some areas in Stockholm, in Gothenburg, in Örebro, in Malmö, and in Västerås, they have seen a prominent rise of violence using drugs and guns, but also blackmail with fictitious debts to gain profits for criminal gangs. And this book, Familjen, is an attempt to show that we have let parallel societies emerge in the country. And a few times the journalist Johanna Bäckström Lerneby was able to do interviews with the patriarch of the family in Gothenburg. This book, I think, is not very well written. I see more literary language in American true crime books, for example, in the genre, while Bäckström always stays on the level of the yellow paper newspaper that she's writing for, and so it's not really a pleasure to read it, but it's interesting in a certain level of information that it gives us. Familjen by Johanna Bäckström Lerneby, and these were the 2 books that I finished last week. Last Thursday was the 1st of July, and the 1st of July is, for all of you who know this, the first day when the second book of the post-Soviet book club is due to be started, due to be read. And we have decided, or I have decided, for reading Oksana Zabuzhko's novel Museum of Abandoned Secrets, which is a novel about 3 generations of Ukrainians and 3 generations of Ukrainian history. It's a 600 plus pages brick, and we have 6 weeks to read this. For all of you who might be interested in reading and joining us and reading Museum of Abandoned Secrets, please write down in the comments below, and I will give you a link to the Facebook group where you could be, Facebook page where you can be a member. I can assign you to the group. And we were 6 people reading Sergei Lebedev's Untraceable, and I hope that we will be at least 6 people who read Museum of Abandoned Secrets by Oksana Zabuzhko in July and the first half of August. The second book that I'm reading is shortlisted for the Women's Prize, which will be handed out in September, I think on September 8th. It's shortlisted. It's from Barbados, and this is Cherie Jones and her novel How, I have to look at it, How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House, which is a very interesting book about poverty, about violence in Barbados in the Caribbean. Yeah. And there is a third book that I am going to read at the same time with these other 2, and this is from the library here in Stockholm. It's called Infinite Country by Patricia Engel, or Engel, or Engel. A book about a Colombian woman who's trying to emigrate to the US. It has been compared as the sort of better version of American Dirt, but I don't know. But this is the third one that I'm going to read right now. Yeah, in about 3 weeks. 3 weeks, folks. It's time. Then we get the long list of the Booker Prize of 2021. Many are sort of waiting for that day to come when the 13 books will be named for the long list of the Booker Prize. Some people have already made predictions for that. I put a link down below to Eric Carl Anderson's prediction. I put a link down below to KD Books. Kieran from KD Books was made a prediction, and I think there was a third prediction which I will also put a link down below. My prediction will come. Give me a couple of more days, please, for this prediction, because I'm working on the list. Right now I have a list of 28 books that might be on the long list, and of course, you are waiting for my video because it will be, as always, about 90% of the real Booker long list. No. Okay, it's that time of year again when we do the mid-year book freakout tag. I did this yesterday. On Sunday was great fun to do this, and I realized that more than 300 booktubers have already done the tag, and it's, I think, by far the best tag, because you get to know what other people think, what other people have read, and what they think was best among the things they have read. So 2 things from real life outside of literature that have struck me last week. The supermarket, which is down here behind me, about 3 minutes, was closed for almost 3 days. It has opened again, as I heard. It closed on Saturday. It belongs to the Swedish Coop chain, and with 800 branches all over the country, and it was closed. Everything was closed. The 800 branches were closed because of a cyber attack. It was attacked by hackers. Not the supermarket was attacked, but the American company who does the sort of payment system for them was attacked by hackers, and they sort of asked for a ransom of $70 million to release this and enable the chain to do business again. It feels like we need to act. We, society, the countries have to act against these cyber criminals. Rumor has it they might be from Russia, which I'm not so sure about. I want to see proof about it, but nobody really knows. And I think the current example shows how vulnerable we are in our societies, and what is next. What are they going to attack next? Hospitals, the firefighters, the police, the schools, the electricity in a whole city? We have to get rid of them. of these people. The temperatures, of course, are my concern. The temperature is not here in Stockholm. It's very warm here right now. Today it was 26 degrees plus, but it's nothing compared to the temperatures that people have had and still have, I think, in large parts of the North American West Coast. In Canada and British Columbia, they had temperatures to 49.6 degrees Celsius. In Oregon and in the state of Washington, they have 45 degrees, and I saw people sort of visiting gym halls in order to be able to cool down in Portland, because if you don't have an air condition, you're effed. Absolutely. So the climate change seems to come much faster than every one of us has expected this, because they were always talking like the end of the century might be super dangerous and the coming generations might have problems. No, it's already our generation and those who live right now who have huge problems, at least on the American West Coast, with hundreds of wildfires. And the summer has even started over there, and we're going to have July, the rest of July and August and a bit of September to survive. And let's see what happens in California, in Oregon and in British Columbia. I hope that you are well over there. So that's it, folks. That was everything I had to say for this week. What are you reading? What have you finished? What are your plans over the next couple of weeks? Drop a comment down below. New books in June is a video that's still missing. I'm going to do that soon. Also, I have to do the F tag, the G tag, and the H tag that Jim at Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff has created. So stay tuned to this channel. Stay tuned to your favorite channel. See you soon. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.